DRL mod for your Chevy with a T-harness, plug and play? Yeah, let's do it. The T-harness will work from 99 to 07 GM trucks like Tahoe, Silverado, or anything similar. But if you don't want to do a T-harness, I'll also show you how to hardwire it. We have white DRLs, amber turn signals, they're super bright. Full white parking lights, including the DRL bulb. Yeah, those parking lights are super bright at nighttime. To make the T-harness, we'll need 4 female adapters with the 3 wires for the 3157 bulbs, and also 4 male terminals with the same 3 wires. Some diodes, we only need 4, but I have the pack here. A little bit of extra 18 gauge wire to extend some of the wiring. To clean it up, some split loom, heat shrink, and Tessa tape. And of course, we'll be needing some switchback bulbs. I'll be using the ones from Migo. These are my older ones, so today I'm gonna be replacing them with a new set. We can either solder or crimp our terminals. I know a lot of you guys are not comfortable soldering your wiring, so I'll be using the crimp connectors instead of solder. I usually prefer solder, but these are actually some really nice ones. They actually provide a little bit more support on the wire, because sometimes whenever you solder it, it may heat up the wire too much and they'll break. So this helps out a lot. And also, a lot of manufacturers like to use this style connection versus soldering. I'm working on a mirror conversion for the power folding mirrors. You can see the plug and play connectors, and here's some of the original wiring covered up with the heat shrink. But when you expose it, you can see the crimp terminals right there with the open barrels. And these are actually not even supporting the wire, but they're still crimped. Let's see how strong these crimps are. Here's the factory one, and here's our crimp on a 30-pound dumbbell. Let's try the factory one first. Picks it up. Let's do our crimp now. Hey, it picks it up too.
Just doing my workout. Tuesday's arms and back.
What about these two? I'm not sure it's gonna work, but let's try it out. It actually worked. Yeah, these are super strong. I like them.
Oh, I could barely lift my right arm because I did so many.
I really wasn't sure what to expect on the crimps, but that's pretty good if it can pick up this type of weight. I'll probably end up using more of this and some solder sometimes, but I like these. But these will require the 2 crimpers to get a good connection on them. We'll need some strippers, and I'll have all these items linked down below in the description for you guys. First, we want to make sure to check the wires and the plugs, because they're going to be a little bit different. Sometimes they also come with different colors. You can see it has 3 wires, and it only has 3 pins, so 2 on the top and 1 on the bottom. This one is also a 3-wire plug, but inside you can see there's 4 pins, 2 on the left and 2 on the right side. So what you want to do is use a multimeter. You can go into the continuity setting, have the black wire under COM, the red one under battery, and if you press them together, it should beep. So now we know that's the same wire. Let's go ahead and test out this one first. That's that black wire, so we want to touch them and see which one is our negative side. Should beep. Alright, there you can see it's ground, but also this bottom one. So these two are actually ground. It's the same one. The middle wire is for the parking light. So let's go ahead and test it out. Nothing. Alright, so there you can see it's the bottom left pin. If you touch any of the other ones, it doesn't beep. So this bottom left is parking light. This blue wire will be the turn signal. So it should be this top pin. There you can hear the beep. If we go on the bottom, nothing. Or on the grounds that we had done earlier. Now you should know all the pin locations. So this far left wire, which is light blue, is going to be on the top left corner. That's the turn signals. The middle pink wire is going to be for the parking light wire. That's on the bottom left corner. And the black wire is our grounds. That's going to be on the far right, the 2 top and bottom connections. We can also test out the switchbacks with a 12-volt battery like the one I'm using here for my Milwaukee drill. So white should be parking light, and it does take a second because it's a switchback. That works, and we want amber turn signals. Everything looks good. Let's test the male connector, and remember that the wire colors don't really matter, it's more of the pin location. So we'll do white first. Nothing. Alright, this one is white. On the far left, if I flip it, there's another pin underneath, and no sound. We'll go ahead and do the red wire. This was white, so it shouldn't beep. Nothing. If I flip it around, the single pin. Alright, so that's red. And this one was white. So we're going to go ahead and test out the black one. It should be this far right one. Yeah, there goes the beep. So nothing here and nothing there. The reason the pin locations matter is the DRL plug will be wired up differently than the one for the parking light and turn signal. This one will have red and white as ground, and the black wire will be the positive side. On the turn signal one, the black wire will be ground, red is turn signal, and the white wire will be parking light. Let's start with the ground wires. These will be pretty simple on the turn signal sockets. It'll be 2 wires, just black to black, color matched for the passenger and driver side. Don't forget the heat shrink first. And these, you're just gonna twist together. Try to make them as tight as you can so you can get a real good connection. That looks good. It'll look something like this, and you want to take the open barrel, slide it underneath the wiring, and you just want to center it to have the copper right in the middle, and you have a little bit of insulation on both sides. Those are going to get crimped down and give that extra support to the wire. So now you want to hold it in place. On the crimper, we're going to be using the top one where it says 16 to 14 gauge, and we'll crimp it down. The open part will be on the top and the numbers will be on the bottom. Just like that. You can see the bottom side is closed and the top one is open. And that's where you want to squeeze down right there. Just make sure that it's aligned down here. And you press it. And there you can see your first crimp. So now that's nice and sturdy, and it's not going to move around, so you can crimp the left side now, and then we'll worry about the middle section on the copper. And now we can crimp the middle of the actual wire, but you can see it's already got some strength on it, which is pretty nice. On this next crimper, we're also going to use the front one, 18 to 16 gauge. It's actually supposed to be able to do both of them, and it can, but it just makes it a lot harder because it'll start moving around on you, and that's why I like to use the other crimper first, which makes it much easier on this crimp. But now that we have it all aligned here, and it's not going to move on us, we can just set it down and crimp it. You can see it right there from the bottom and on the back side. So you just want to go ahead and press on it. And it kind of gets stuck, so you want to go ahead and press it down. But it's already crimped on one of the ends. There you can see it looks real good. Right here on the right side is already done. So now you want to do it on the other side as well. Just make sure they're nice and even. And there's the back side. If you mess up on a crimp, it also has a release lever. You just press it forward and it'll open it all up. There's a good look at the crimps. You can see it's nice and strong, and you can go ahead and insert your heat shrink, close it down, and do the next one. That's the second one. It should look like this. Now you have ground on your turn signal sockets. One solid wire on each one, black to black. On the DRL plugs, we're going to be grounding the black wire from the brown plug to the white and red wire, all three together. I want to do it with both wires so I can have an extra ground. Here's a better look at the factory 2-pin plug for the DRL socket. You can see on the right, there's 2 terminals on the top and bottom. Those are ground. And on the top left is the positive side for the DRL. So it makes more sense for us to connect this with the 2 terminals on the right, which are white and red, as our ground, and the black wire, which is this top left pin, as our positive, just like this. Because on the bottom you see there's no connection, exactly like on the factory. So we're gonna go ahead and flip these out. Black and white are ground, and black will be our positive DRL side. So just make sure to join these two together. It's not gonna be black to black in this case. Alright, there you can see it's grabbing on both, and we can do the middle. On the 2 wires, we'll crimp it down with a 14 gauge. That looks good, and we can crimp the black wire on the 16 gauge setting. Alright, nice and strong. And again, don't forget about the heat shrink. The grounds are ready on the DRL plugs, and remember not to use the black wire. You're gonna use both white and red going to the black wire on the brown plugs. Okay, to make it a T-harness, we now have to join the DRL plug to the turn signal plug. And it's gonna be the same on the passenger and driver side. Let's just call this one the driver side. First, we'll start with the turn signals, which are the light blue wires on the brown connectors. These two will get connected to the red wire on this plug, which is the truck side. And in between, there'll be no diodes, all straight wire to wire. Turn signals are ready. It'll look just like this, like a Y. And now we can work on the parking light wire. The pink one will get connected to this white wire. But we also want to add another wire just as an extension to reach over for the DRL plug. Alright, the parking light wire is now done. You can see it right over here. It's got the red extension just coming down. This one is about 21 inches. So what I'll do is go ahead and start taping this together to clean it up. And I'm going to loop it back this way. And it'll just come out close to this black wire. So we can start interfacing on this pink wire for the DRL plug. Okay, it's starting to look much better now. It actually looks like an X. You can see the red wire coming down. It loops, goes back up, and it loops out this way next to the DRL black wire. But if you're enjoying this content so far, don't forget to smash that like button down below. And we can now interface on the pink wire, which is for the white LED on the DRL plug. We want 2 inputs, the regular DRL and our parking light. So what we'll do is go ahead and add the 2 diodes on this side so we can now connect both wires. We'll be using 2 10 amp diodes. That's more than enough to power up our switchbacks, or if you decide to go back to halogen, just make sure to crimp them at the stripes facing towards the brown plug with the inputs on the right side. And if you have some bigger diodes like some 20s just laying around, you can also use them. They'll be a little bit bulkier, but it's fine. You just want to twist them a bit like this, and that'll help keep them together before you crimp them. We can crimp them on the 18 and 16 gauge setting. Yeah, it looks pretty good right there. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. And don't forget to close it down. I'm also using the heat shrink with the adhesive inside. You can kind of see that watertight seal right there. On the last two wires, you can crimp them to any of the diode legs. It really doesn't matter since they are going to the same terminal. But what I'll probably do is just go ahead and cut them down a little bit to make it more straight, because you can see it's a little bit longer. You can wrap it around the diode leg first, and that'll help you to keep it sturdy while you're crimping it. Alright, that looks pretty good. I'll do a 20 gauge crimp on this diode leg because it is pretty thin. That should be much better. Alright, that looks real good right there. It ain't going nowhere. Close it up. And you're done. Bam. And there's our T-harness. You can see our diodes are facing towards the brown plug. Our 2 input wires are facing towards the male. But before we go ahead and clean it up with the split loom, we do want to go into the truck and test it out. Make sure we have white DRLs, white parking lights, and amber turn signals. You want to connect the turn signal plug with the single pin on top and the other 2 on the bottom. Also, make sure that the terminals inside your connector are nice and clean. These are a bit corroded, but they'll work for this test. On the DRL plug, it'll be opposite with the 2 pins on top and the single pin on the bottom, because remember, we're using 2 grounds on the right side. There it is. So now both are plug and play. We can test out the daylight running lights by removing the DRL relay and jumping pin 87 to pin 30. A small piece of wire will work, or you can use something else. So let's go ahead and pull out this relay and jump it from pin 87 to pin 30. Should look like that. And now the DRL should be on. There you can see one. DRL is working. You can see it's in white, which is the way we have it wired up on the switchbacks. There's the driver's side. And up here, since it's in the garage, you can see the jumper cable on the fuse box. It's just from pin 87 to pin 30 on the DRL relay. Now you can see with the parking light, both of the bulbs are on at the same time and they're white. So at nighttime, it'll light up all this section. And on the side marker, it depends on what color you put, because they're not going to be switchbacks. This one, I have a white LED. On the passenger side, I just put a amber LED so you can see the difference. So it's really up to you on this side marker color, but the switchbacks should go amber once we do the turn signals. The wiring on the T-harness looks good. Everything is working properly how it should. We have turn signals in amber, both of the bulbs, white DRLs, and full white parking lights. That means we can go ahead and clean up our wiring harness. And you guys let me know what you think on the amber or white side markers. I want to protect the diodes a little bit more from water damage, so I'm going to go ahead and do some electrical tape and go over it with an exterior tape. After that, then I can do the split loom. Or if you like, you can also use some heat shrink over the socket. This one is 1.5 inches and it does fit over it. Since I already have it, I might as well just go ahead and use it. It's a lot of split loom, but we're just gonna cut 2 pieces for each of the T-harnesses and we'll hold it on with outdoor Tessa tape. It just wraps all around it. There it is, your T-harness is now ready, and it should look similar to this one. Here's a close-up at the connectors with the Tessa tape and that split loom. I do like the way they turned out, but I won't be using the T-harness on the Tahoe. What I'll be doing is hardwiring it. The way I have it wired up right now is with the amber side markers. Since I do have a amber reflector on my parking lights, the switchbacks are doing all white with the parking light. We have full amber turn signals. I also retained the DRLs and I wired them up as amber, but today we're going to be changing them out to white. I'm also going to be changing out the parking lights because I did get a bit of water in there. You can see some of the water drops, and I do want to get rid of the amber reflector so that I can put the white side marker. So we'll be doing that. And on the headlights, my low beam had gone out, so I just have a standard LED in there, but I'm going to be putting in something brighter. On the grill lights, I did have them hooked up to the DRLs and they were amber, but they went out a long time ago. So today I'm going to go ahead and do the clear ones so they can be all white. My parking lights are loose on the Tahoe, and you can see back here on the connector, it's a bit loose. That's why water got in. This one is a little bit loose, not that bad. I'll have to make sure they're nice and tight on the new ones so I don't get no more water back here. But this is also my alarm LED. I'll have to move it over. The last time I did modify my plug for the DRL, and now it has a 3-pin with the diodes in here. So I'll go ahead and link that video at the end of the screen. For now, I'll go ahead and expose the wiring so we can modify them for the white DRL. What you see here is a factory turn signal plug with the 3 pins. On the DRL, I already have the 3-pin connector because I had cut off the factory 2-pin. But these are the 2 DRL wires from the factory, ground and positive. It's being grounded by the factory DRL ground, straight black to black. This will stay the same. The positive side from the DRL is going to a diode on the first pin of the brown connector. That's because I wanted to power up the amber LED with DRL and turn signal. So we're going to keep the diodes, but we're going to move them over to the middle pin of the brown wire so that now we can power up the white LED with DRL and parking light. The turn signal wire, this blue one, will stay the same by itself. So it'll kind of be like this wire, just a single wire jumping from blue to this blue over here, which is pin 1 to pin 1 with no diodes. That's just going to be turn signal. It's going to be an amber, and the diodes are going to be the ones that are moving over to the middle pin. I'll do the turn signals first. So we'll cut this wire, and I have this white wire going to the first pin over here, which is the light blue. That's the turn signal. So I'm gonna move it over and cut it right over here. And we're just gonna go ahead and join it just like this, one wire. I'm also using the crimps this time instead of solder, but you can see our connection, it's already done. I'll cover it up with some heat shrink, and that's it for the turn signal. I added some tape here just to clean them up because I don't like my wires to get tangled up. But now we can do the diodes. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this wire. I had it on the parking light by itself. We're gonna cut it right over here. So just cut it. And this is the parking light wire, the middle pin from this brown connector. We're also gonna be using the DRL positive wire and getting rid of these 2 diodes. inserting the new diodes now. Now we have the two sources for the white LED. Remember to put the diodes with the stripes facing down towards the brown connector. And add the DRL and parking light. The diodes are like a one-way street. They're only letting voltage come in one way, but not back out the other. So right now we have the stripes facing down. That means 12 volts will come into the LED, but it won't come out this way, so that you don't damage any other electronics in the truck. And it'll also work with grounds, but in this case, we don't need a ground. So that's why we have them facing this way. All right, let's go ahead and clean up this wiring. On my alarm LEDs, all I did was insert them in the condensation holes with some hot glue. These were flat, but on the new parking light, you can see it's got a little piece sticking out and a rubber hose kind of like just covering it. So what I had to do was drill it out, and now I inserted the LED back here, put the rubber boot, and made me a hole here so I could zip tie the wiring and it wouldn't pull on it instead of using hot glue this time. But this is what it looks like from the front. It's got like a black gasket around it. Seems pretty nice, and it does have the clear side marker versus the older one. So let's go ahead and check it out, and I'll go ahead and install these. There you can see the condensation holes on the bottom. This one has 2. The older one actually had 3 of them. There was 1, 2, and 3. Before I assemble everything back together, I'm gonna swap out my side markers to white, and also my low beams. They had gone out. They were from Oxido, so this time I went ahead and purchased a new set from Oxbeam. These are supposed to be 30,000 lumens, and these were the Oxidos. They were 20,000 lumens. I don't use my high beams often, but I still have the Oxido bulbs. They work. The ones that I use the most are the low beams, and that's probably why they burnt out. But I do want to try out the Oxbeam bulbs this time because I do have their fog lights, and they still work. Those are switchbacks, and since I'm doing the headlights, I might as well go ahead and try out their side markers. On the smaller white LEDs, they're supposed to be brighter as well. You can see it has a little more LEDs. These are actually very bright from Oxido, so I do like them, but they're amber, so we're gonna go ahead and try out the white ones. That looks better now with the clear side marker, and we can go ahead and change out the grill lights to these clear ones. If you also have this grill from Amazon and you want to change your lights from amber to white, it's gonna be a plug and play, but you will have to go ahead and swap out the wires back here and make sure you have pin 1 as ground with the black wire, and pin 2 will be the red wire for the positive sign. If not, it won't work because they're reversed. The numbers are on the bottom, and I'm just using a pick on top to pull out the pins. Alright, now I have pin 1 as ground and pin 2 as 12 volt. This one looks a little bit longer because when I depinned it, one of the pins came out. So I had to use one of the older plugs, and now they'll work because we reversed all the wiring. Now we have all clear lenses with the new grill lights. I do like the way they turned out versus the amber ones that came with it when I purchased it. But now they'll light up when I turn on my DRLs. All 5 will be on at the same time in white. And we'll go ahead and test them all out just to make sure everything works. We have the clear reflectors with the white LED side markers from Oxbeam. The switchbacks from Oxido for turn signals and DRL. And back here you can see the relocated LED for my alarm. It lights up blue, and it is brighter at nighttime. On the new parking light, it does have the black silicone around it, but it blends in pretty nicely. I thought it was gonna stick out more, but it actually doesn't. Our Oxido high beams and our new low beams from Oxbeam, we're gonna go ahead and try these out. And we can't forget about the fog lights down here. They're Oxbeam as well. Let's try the parking lights first. Yeah, they're super bright. I think it looks better with the white DRL, or I mean 3 grill lights. It looks much nicer with these white LEDs on top, and these are actually off. It's just a reflection of the back LED on the grill. Let's see the amber turn signals at night. Yeah, it looks pretty bright, and the side marker matches with the LED door handles. I was trying out the aux beam low beams, and they're pretty bright. I'll go ahead and show you right here. Let's see if you can tell how bright these lights are. Yeah, that's super bright. And if we go in the front, you can probably see them a little bit better. It kind of blurs out the lens a little bit, but I'll get closer to it. And let's go ahead and do the high beams. Just a little bit brighter. Yeah, they're definitely bright. If I get tired of the white, I can also break it up with the fog lights on the bottom since they are switchbacks. Let's try out the amber on them. I have them hooked up on the factory fog light switch, so I'll press it one time. That should be amber, and turn it off again. You can already see them on the bottom. There they go right there. So that's just if I want to break up the white. I think it looks pretty good as well though. See them right there in the bottom. Let's find a strobe pattern. Alright, that's a strobe. The front's all bright and the pillars are looking good back here, but I do want to go ahead and upgrade those tail lights to something a little bit different. If I missed anything, let me know down below in the comments. I love reading them. And if this video helped you out or you like this content, don't forget to like and share. And now, let's check out the next upgrade here.